Good morning, everyone. I hope you enjoyed your break last week. So today we're going to talk about your PowerPoint presentation. I want to give you a few bits of information in terms of what I'll be looking for when you present. These are just some tips. No one's going to be perfect. I'm not perfect when I do presentations, so I'm not expecting any kind of perfection. I am expecting you, however, to maybe have a good time with this. So I'm actually going to share with you a document that I've actually posted on Blackboard. It's in your capstone projects folder. So let's just do a review. And, you know, as always, I encourage you at any time to ask questions. I'd love some questions, actually. So just as a reminder, this project is worth 15 points and is going to be presented during the Friday Labs, December 11th and 18th. We have 9 students, so it's likely we can finish all of the presentations on the 11th. We will reserve December 18, however, for some summarization of the class and some discussion, maybe some extra credit activities during that time. So I am going to be drawing your names today in terms of what order you will present. So as you know, this PowerPoint is based on the career of your choice. We will certainly be eager to hear how each of you handles the topics. You're going to present on Zoom and you will share your screen. So I am going to give you a YouTube video that's 1 or 2 minutes on how to do screen sharing. You can also practice by recording yourself. If you want me to participate as your audience, I'm really happy to do that. Again, your audience is going to be very small. So there are 9 of you, 1 of me, and I am going to send you a Zoom link because we are going to meet directly in our own group rather than going into the large Zoom room with the other students in the HEA class. The audience is going to be on your side. I'm assuming that you want to see others in your class do well. They want to see you do well. So this is an opportunity, again, to just really practice this particular skill and hopefully enjoy it. So what makes for a good presentation? The presenter knows the topic. That's first and foremost. No one's interested in a presenter who isn't interested in the topic or doesn't know the topic. You don't go to a speaker to not be informed. So it's important that you understand and know your topic. Are you engaging with the audience? One of the things that's important about presenting is actually making it more like a conversation rather than just a straight presentation. So how do you show and demonstrate that you are engaged with the audience and they are engaged with you? That may be allowing the audience to ask you questions during the presentation and definitely at the end of the presentation. Are you showing energy? Are you showing that you're friendly and personable? That comes across and really gets the audience on your side. How about your language? Are you being appropriate in your sense of humor or in the words that you use? So not every audience is designed or made up of the same kind of people. So you want to make sure that whatever you present, whatever you say is appropriate for the audience you're speaking with. Can you be heard? No, the message isn't good if the audience can't hear it. So you want to make sure you're speaking clearly, that your voice projects, that you aren't mumbling. Because you can hear yourself speaking doesn't necessarily mean that the audience can hear you. Also important, pace, not going too fast, not going too slowly. So fast just indicates that you're trying to hurry it up and get off. And that's not necessarily good for the audience because it might mean that things aren't being explained clearly or thoroughly. So you want to make sure you have a nice balance of maybe where it's okay to go a little faster, but where you also might need to go a little slower. But overall, you're looking for balance. Do you vary your tone, your pitch in your voice? So are you having enough combination of ups and downs in the way that you speak? No one wants to hear the monotone voice throughout the presentation. That can be a little bit disinteresting and annoying. So make sure that you do inflections and pitches in your voice. Eye contact is extremely different on Zoom. I actually had to raise my laptop onto 3 board games to get it a little bit even with my eyes. Even still, I'm not 100% sure that I'm making eye contact with the audience, but I, have tried to make sure that I'm looking ahead and maybe looking at the camera. That's a little challenging, but it is, something that we're all getting used to, and it's not going to be 100% perfect. But as much as you can possibly make sure that you are eye level with the camera, that gives the sense that you are trying to make eye contact with your audience. Again, with some pace, you might want to make sure you're not rushing your presentation, that you are showing some patience. Again, that you are asking the audience for questions, that you're taking your time to be engaged with the audience. When it comes to time, if you were, presenting in a classroom, be on time, show up on time for your presentation. You also want to make sure that you adhere to the amount of time that's allotted. So if you're told that you have a 10-minute presentation, make the presentation 10 minutes. 2 minutes, no, that just means that you didn't take time to prepare, or that you are nervous enough to just rush through the material. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, that means you're kind of showboating a little bit and maybe going on for too long. So pay attention to the time frames that you have. In this case, you have a 5 to 10 minute presentation. We talked about nonverbals last week in our discussion board. So are you presenting a positive body language? Even on Zoom, we're not going to see. However, the way you hold yourself, that may determine how well your speaking comes across, or even your eye contact. So you do want to make sure that when you're presenting, maybe don't slouch, because that doesn't give you that feeling of actually presenting, and particularly presenting positively. So you might want to make sure you're sitting a little bit more erect, and again, head up, looking into your camera. If you were presenting professionally, naturally you would dress the part. So you have on your suit or your dress or your skirt. You would make sure that you are in line with what the audience's expectations are. In a classroom, everyone's student, so dress like a student, unless your professor tells you otherwise. As you are giving a lot of facts and information, you also want to make sure that you're giving credit to those sources. So you identify where you're getting the information. This is why I had you create a works cited page, so that at the end of your PowerPoint, you are identifying that your information came from other sources. A summary is a nice way of wrapping up the presentation. It highlights the topics that you thought were important as you presented. It may be a summary of your opinions on the topic or the matter. You should always end a presentation, though, by asking the audience if they have questions. So let me move this down. Here we go. Poor presentation skills are pretty much just the opposite of the good ones. So, you know, you want to avoid, as we said, don't race through the information. Repeating yourself, that tends to come out of just being nervous. There's no 100% way to guarantee that that won't happen. So if you do, the audience isn't really that overly concerned, unless, of course, you're repeating everything that you have gone over. We talked about language being appropriate for the situation. We talked about body language helping you present. We didn't talk about reading the slides. What is annoying to me as an audience member is when someone reads the slides word for word. We all can read. There's no need for the presenter, however, to read to us. So you do want to make sure that in keeping with the conversation, that you're just using the PowerPoint slides as a point of reference. The audience can read the slides. The audience can then see where your conversation is going, but you don't need to read to the audience. So your grade is going to be based on the following. Introducing yourself. We oftentimes assume that we know who the presenter is. Not necessarily. Not everyone in the audience will know. So you do want to introduce yourself and your topic. I will be checking you for pace. Pace is even more important on Zoom because we're listening to the voice so much that that's where the focus is. Are you going slow enough or are you racing through the material? Eye contact, again, raise your laptop or your desktop monitor so that you have a clear view of the audience and the audience has a clear view of you. Number 4, did you cover the topics? So remember, there are 6 topics that you're covering in your PowerPoint presentation. So make sure that you have all of the content. Are you knowledgeable? So this is not the time to start learning about the topic yourself. You should be aware of what you've put together and that you can present it even without looking at your slides. Can you present the information? Towards the end, maybe even in the middle, and ask the audience if they have questions. That is one way of making them knowing that you are interested in them and their ideas. And lastly, I'd like you to show some enthusiasm for the topic and show that you actually enjoy doing it. Enthusiasm really goes a long way in getting the audience to be, you know, really engaged and on your side as they talk. All right, so that is a kind of quick summary. And now to pull your names for the order in which you are going to present. I have put your names into a bag and I will draw from them. And first up is going to be Mona. And Matthew. Jillian. Serena. Elizabeth. Emma. Maddie Angeli. Mary. And Emily. So I will make sure to put this listing on the Blackboard page so that you remember where you are, who you follow. Mona, I'm sure that you're the person who's not going to forget where she is. You can negotiate with each other. So if you want to try to change or switch with someone, have at it. Just make sure to let me know what the switch or the change is. Sometimes students like to go first because it takes the pressure off. You're not sitting and waiting for your turn. So sometimes first can be good. Again, we will probably get these done on the very first day, December 11th. So everyone should be prepared. Don't assume that because you're towards the end that we'll never get to you. That may not be the case. So again, if you have questions, I hope that you will, make sure to ask. That's it for now. We will talk again soon. Thanks. Bye.